Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named 𝖝𝖆𝖑 in the TIFU subreddit. The post is titled, "I forgot I clogged the toilet. I have no one to blame but myself here. I started the morning like any other, big cup of coffee while making my daughter's breakfast. That cup of coffee hit and I ended up clogging the toilet. Just as I was about to deal with that, my daughters started screaming. They have a goldfish they called Goldie and it was obviously dying. This was their first pet and we had told them we wanted them to show they could take care of it before getting something bigger, like a cat. Goldie died and my daughters were crying terribly. This was their first experience with death, so I had a long conversation with them about it. To give them some closure, I suggested we give the goldfish a proper funeral. We held a 30-minute ceremony for the fish and were ready to send it to the great beyond from our toilet. My toilet no longer looked clogged and was drained, so in Goldie went and I flushed the toilet. Unfortunately, the toilet was still very much clogged. Goldie was not sent to the great beyond, instead, the bowl suddenly filled with waste and brown water again. Panicked, I tried flushing it again, but it made things worse and the bowl almost overflowed. My daughters were screaming, my wife was failing to comfort them, and I was trying to plunge the toilet with a dead fish covered in waste. Eventually, I got the toilet plunged and everything flushed, but the damage was done. My daughters go between stone silence and crying about Goldie, and they asked if that would stop him from going to fish heaven. This second post was made in the AITA subreddit by a user named 𝖝𝖆𝖆𝖑. The post is titled AITA for how I handled a prank my brother's fiance pulled on me. So I know this isn't as dramatic as some of the posts here, but I'm curious about your opinions. My brother and his fiance have been together for 3 years. She has been trying to prank me forever. I don't get startled easily, so she has taken it upon herself to try to be the person who successfully scares me. I never prank her back, but sometimes I play along with her attempts. She doesn't do this often. Previous pranks involved hiding behind a door, in a car, or in a closet and jumping out at me, so nothing elaborate. They are currently crashing at my apartment because they are in the process of moving into their first home in my city. The prank, she hid under my bed while I was out for a run in the evening. When I got back, before I went into the shower, I was at my bedside table taking my watch off and dropping it on the charger. The room was dark except for my lamp, so I didn't notice anyone under my bed. She touched my foot. It was a really light graze, so it didn't register with me. I stepped back and squatted down to see under the bed a little. It was dark, but I could see long hair. A part of me just knew it was her because no one else would do this. I said something like, "I can see you under there, but who's the other one?" This scared her. In her panic, she struggled to get out from under the bed while asking me, "What do you mean?" She scrambled out and slammed into me. She also screamed, which made my brother come into the room. She was in my arms. I take it this is why he's mad. I tried to explain I was just messing with her because she was clearly trying to prank me. He thinks I'm flirting with his fiance, and apparently this has been going on for a while since these pranks began. I told him the pranks are his fiance's idea and that he should be having this conversation with her, not me. It's been really awkward between us now. I have 2 more weeks with them. I feel like they're both blaming me and it's unfair. Should I apologize? But for what? I feel like I'm owed the apology. Am I being an asshole? Update. I mentioned in a comment that I have a boyfriend. My boyfriend has met my brother and his fiance. I didn't think flirting was something I'd be accused of given my relationship, so when my brother brought it up, it felt abrupt and I was blindsided. I spoke with my brother privately since his feelings are more important to me. He said this all came out because ever since they moved into my apartment, his fiance has been making comments about how I maintain my place, handle chores, cook for us, and how I'm quick to fix things. She also mentioned that I make furniture. He felt she was comparing us and her comments started to build up. He apologized for directing his frustration at me instead of communicating with her, which he then did. I don't know how that conversation went. She refused to apologize to me initially, claiming I had flirted with her too, but she couldn't provide a single example of such behavior. As straightforwardly as I could, I made it clear to both of them that I am not interested in her and that if she can't apologize, she can leave. I entertained the pranks before because they were harmless, but they're off the table now. I didn't have a rule about going into my room. I only told them to knock first if I'm in there. Today, she approached me to apologize. I told her I know it's insincere, but I'll accept it because I love my brother. I hope they break up. Vastro said, pranks are like anal. Not everyone is into them, and if you do them badly, everyone is going to have a bad time. Maleficent Bottle said, the only decent person here is OP. The brother's ex wasn't talking about how good OP was or how much money he had, but that he was basically an adult who cooked and cleaned. This really highlights the data showing how women's quality of life decreases when partnered with a man, as they often end up handling most of the childcare and chores while contributing equally to bills. This third post was made in the relationship advice subreddit by a throwaway account. The post is titled, "My fiancé became upset when he heard that I have done sex acts with my past partners that I don't want to try with him. I have been together with John for 3 years in total, and we've had a great run so far. Even early on, I thought he could be the one, so I happily said yes when he asked me to marry him a few months ago, although wedding planning has been put on the back burner for now because of the virus. I thought things were great, but suddenly I feel like we are at a serious impasse that has made things very tense between us. With restrictions in our state winding down, we finally hosted a small get-together, which mostly included friends I had from college. I think with all the recent stress, we all went a bit wild and the alcohol was flowing freely. At one point, we played a party game of sorts where the topic became kind of simple. I don't want to get too explicit, but basically, it came up whether I had ever had anal sex. I didn't feel comfortable answering, but a friend of mine who was very drunk blurted out that I had done it with X and Y. I was very mad that she violated my privacy like that, but I didn't want to ruin the party, so we kind of laughed it off and moved on. I thought that was it, but later that night I could tell that John seemed very upset, and I asked him what was wrong. We had never really discussed our history, and frankly, I thought we both preferred it that way. But now John asked me very probing questions, for example, how many guys I had anal with. I was reluctant but answered honestly that it was about 8. He also asked me about some other acts I had done that I don't want to get into. Then we came to the real issue. He said he felt upset that I had anal sex with all those guys but refused to try it with him. It's true that he asked before, and I said it's not something I want to do, which is true. I'm not sure how to explain it, but the act feels kind of degrading to me. I kind of enjoy doing it in a wilder phase of my life because there was this appeal of trying something more taboo but only with casual partners. But I don't want a man I love and respect so much and who respects me to do that to me. The idea just sounds completely off-putting to me. I tried to explain how I felt to John, but he did not see it that way. He said some hurtful things during that conversation. He knew I briefly had a thing with a baseball player in college, and he said how I was happy getting on my hands and knees to get ass fucked by a left fielder, but suddenly became a prude for me. He realized he went too far and apologized immediately, but the tension between us remained palpable. We haven't been intimate since this fight, if you can call it that, and I am not sure how to get past this. Has anyone dealt with anything similar? How can I try to explain to John that it's not that I love him less or find him less attractive? It's just that I'm a different person now, and the kinds of things that seemed fun in my crazier college days are not something I want to repeat in a committed relationship. Update. Unfortunately, I don't have a happy update, as the title says, but I am grateful for all the advice I received. I took some time to reflect and see things from John's perspective. I understood how the revelation of my history may have made him question things and feel that I didn't value him as much as other partners, which was 100% not true and not how I wanted him to feel. I had another talk with John and said that if he wanted us to incorporate anal sex into our sex life, I would be willing to give it a try. He agreed, but not with as much enthusiasm as I expected. To be honest, I was very uncomfortable with the idea for reasons I explained in my previous post, but I thought I could get over it for the sake of salvaging our relationship. The experience was awful. I thought I was okay with it, but I felt this strange sadness that John was doing this to me. In the past, John had been very romantic and caring, but this time he was almost robotic, even when he must have seen I was feeling distressed. After he finished, I went to the shower and then just cried. I guess at that point, I realized that our relationship was over. We had one last candid discussion to put it all out there. John apologized for how he acted and basically said that without wanting to, his perception of me had changed when I described my past. He said he had built up an image of me based on the person he knew, but that image kind of shattered after hearing about my promiscuity in college and how I had been more adventurous with other guys. He said he was sorry that he tried to get over it, but somehow he just couldn't. The silver lining is that at least in the end, we parted ways on a civil note. John was kind and helpful and helped me move out to a friend's apartment who had a spare room that I am now renting. I would be lying if I said that I am really okay with the situation, since it's been nothing less than disorienting. This was by far the best relationship I ever had, and I am still struggling to figure out how it just kind of crumbled so suddenly. Fortunately, my friends have been very supportive and my workplace is opening up again, so at least I can take my mind off the relationship and move on with my life. Mr. Anthropy said, "Boy, this made me sad. Edit. A lot of you are feeding my misanthropy. Keep it up." MoBA said, "Actually, as sad as the update is, it came for the best for both. OP realized she shouldn't compromise her sexual boundaries to save a relationship, and the fiancé realized that he cannot move past OP's history. It is good that this happened before they were married or had children, allowing them to address these issues sooner in their relationship." Monsty Mama said, "Same here. I feel so bad for OP, and it is even worse reading the comments accusing her of lying." Consult Jim Moriarty said, "Honestly, if you ask someone to do a act and they say no for whatever reason, even if it's simply that they don't want to, that should be an instant soft no for that act. Why on earth would I want to do something sexual with my partner that they are not 100% into as well? Why would anyone? If you don't care about your partner's feelings, enjoyment, and emotions, get a toy and do it with that instead."